As I say, the Germans would say, we are simply accountants. You are simply doing the accounting for the Lord. Like I say, it was some point in time in the past, and if you research it, you can find out. And you can look for the records and the log books of basically my trains that used to go from town to town. The gypsies might have done this as well. But basically, there were these trains that would go from city to city to city to city throughout the country. And they would stop in a city and they would pull off on a side track. And they would basically open up. And basically, you would get medical stuff done there, or you could get your eyes looked at, or you could get many different things. Basically, I forget, also dental. I believe I had a train set up at some point in time in the past. And this would be Lucifer White Star Lines, by the way, just to correct the lies and everything else. Elijah. Elijah. I don't know, which is, I believe, an Irish name. I don't know. Like I said, you have to look up and see and look in the scrolls. And like I said, there's a lot of printed word in metal. A lot of people said blah, 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 paper. And I said, no, actually, well, I mean, a lot of it's metal, aluminum, and iron. And, well, not iron because it doesn't last long enough, but like copper or something like that, gold, something that lasts a long time. Even gold doesn't last that long, though. Like I said, I was trying to get something that would literally last forever, that you could look at and read and know that this is the truth, blah, 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 of the past. But basically, there were trains that were set up as shops, basically. And basically, dentists, dental people, an eyeglass person, and also, I forget, a doctor, what they call general practitioner. But they would go from state to state to state to state around America and around other countries. And they would stop in at towns, and people would come from miles around to basically, get something like sometimes that they would try and do like a bone fix, and like they wouldn't set it right, or they would get it slightly off or something, and they would take it to one of my doctors, and one of my doctors would like reset it or something like that. Sometimes people would just have to patch up people that, because you get hurt on the field or on the job or something like that, and they don't have a real doctor there, or you can't do a real cast, and so they try and patch you up, and the bone doesn't heal right, and then so then when one of my trains would pull through, you'd be sent to one of the trains, and the company would pay or whatever else like that. Like I would pay from the company or like, and you'd go and you would get your bone refixed or replaced or, reset basically. And they would, fix it right. And, of course, you have to get your bone rebroken and reset and stuff like that or something like that. And the surgeons would do that. Doctors would do that. Anyway, a lot of people are like blah, 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 blah. But, they just talk shit. Literally, like, it's like shit flowing from their mouth. It's not real. It's not the truth. They haven't lived 900 or 90 trillion years. And like I said, what I offer is just a brief sampling of what is true. Like I said, you can confirm it on your own. I don't care. Maybe I'm wrong, maybe I'm right. Usually right. Like most people would say, I would be like, well, I believe this to be true. And most people would say, well, what you think is right or true, we'll take that as fact. And because I was really careful about everything, and I didn't just simply, nothing I did was ever, easy or simple, And you can look that up. Like I said, Lucifer White Star Lines. Realistically, it's me, it's the creator. Other people would try and take my name or pretend that they were me or pretend that they were doing things on my behalf sometimes, but they wouldn't. Richard Nixon was a real piece of shit. He would go to my far-off sites or some of my bases, and like I say, Richard Nixon or basically JFK distracted them. John McCain would whip out his guns from underneath his arms and shoot. That's why he was dubbed Shoot in the Back John McCain. Because when people's backs were turned, John McCain would pull out his guns from underneath his underarms and shoot. That's what and who John McCain was. Pathetic. Like I say, a lot of my better people, like I say, I paid quick draws and all kinds of other things. People that would do things fairly and honestly, and sometimes they would die, but they'd always be remembered. You know, a few people in humanity decided to basically be that good, or at least to try to be that good. You know, I don't know, a lot of times I would be like stupid heroes or stupid fucking martyrs. You know, I invented the mortar and the martyr. You know, because I cared about my people. Like I say, in the whole universe, it's no joke when they say, well, simply put, why they came after you was because you were just too good. You were just too honest and too perfect. It was pretty much the fact that they were going to kill you, and then they were going to do something really horrible. Because you had just become that person. Like I said, long before I had laws, long before I had anything, I had good people. What they used to call just good people. Just people that wanted to build, invent, and mine, or just live. Some of the deepest, darkest minds were mine. Oh, well lit, really. I said, you'll spend hundreds of trillions of years finding out everything that I did. Everything that my life forms did. And no, it wasn't just humans. 1.5s, exoskeletons, a lot of life forms, but yes, they were intelligent, sentient, as they say, whatever that means. Like I say, I don't really care what happens to me. I was epic. I had a colony ship. Many people would, like I remember the times when the Irish and a lot of other people would look to me or look up at me. You know, it's like, and a lot of people would say, why do you care about us? Why do you care? And I would simply respond, because I can. Because it's the right thing to do. That's why I care. That's why I cared. Because I'm your actual creator. Why do you want to save us? Why do you want to do all these things for us? Because I think, well, I know. I didn't spend 90 trillion years or whatever time creating you and genetically making you better, dealing with all this shit. And like I said, you can go back and you can ask other races. I was tortured for 120 years. Some piece of shit would laugh at me and show me all the pathetic, fucked up shit that they were able to do when I wasn't around. They showed me. They filmed it. All the rape parties. All the sex, the women crying out, helpless. They showed me. They made me watch. Maybe it was Zachary, maybe it was somebody else. They like to laugh at me, you see. Because I was the great Lucifer Starline. Most epic. After 50 billion years, they had finally gotten me down to the ground. And so they tortured me. They showed me how they were able to force people, able to rape them, able to say, hey, no one's coming, no one cares about when you scream, no one's going to protect you. They seem to enjoy it, like I say. They seem to enjoy laughing at me. kind of funny. It just made me hate them more. It just made me more resolved. Like I said, maybe it was because you were my most loved, most cared about life form in existence. Like, I loved the 1.5s, I loved the exoskeletons, I cared about all my life forms. But I put a lot of work and effort into the human race and female race. And maybe it was because I loved females more than males. Maybe it was because I gave them better voice, smarter intelligence, better reflexes. I put a lot of effort into the female race. I made them delicate, gorgeous, sexual, loving, caring creatures. A lot of it was also the fact that if they didn't, then, they had to look after their children. And like I know, there were men that had sex with their daughters after their wives died. There were women that had sex with their sons after their husbands died. A few little things, and the fact that they were hanging on or clinging on to a happy time or whatever, they had no other choice. A lot of people wanted to say that these people were lesser, smaller, or sick. Like, no, they're just clinging on to what little they had left. I don't know. I'm not one to judge your real actions like that. Not that I had ever done anything like that myself. Like, a lot of people said Lucifer was this, Lucifer was that. Lucifer is gunpowder and whatever. And, basically bat guano or whatever. Sulfur and whatever. Mixed with aluminum nitrate. That's what Lucifer was. He was one of my companies. Lucifer gunpowder. I also made candles, a lot of other things, crayons later on. Like I say, I know you. I've always known you. I always will know you. You can come up to my house, pretend to be a cop, you piece of shit, I don't care. You should know how Rick Bush and Rodney plan to take over the police officers or plan to take over the courts or some shit. So Abraham Lincoln adopted me. And he said we used to have gold light posts. We used to have silver light posts. There was gold on my train. There was gold on my trains. There were gold railings. Copper railings. Really nice ornamental stuff. That's why they used to call some people the Yankees. Not the Yankee football team, although that came later. No, the Yankees, because they used to use both hands and yank shit off the wall to try and rip it off the wall and run off with it. They would kill people, then they would raid the places, or they would try and grab light posts to run off to make coins or whatever with it. There were towns with silver light posts and silver bells. All that's left of the songs. Silver bells. There were gold bells too. It sounded really nicely and good. Everything had to be in tune. Everything had to be whatever. You want to go into a town. You want to take a bell and replace it with some iron piece of shit when there used to be a gold and silver bell in that town. And you want to call yourself a mayor or someone. And you want to blame Nazi Germany or Germany. when it's really the Hells Angels and some shit from Yale or Harvard. Hardard. Retarded. Probably more like retarded. The funniest thing is JFK, Richard Nixon, they were laughing at you the whole fucking time. You were a joke to him. He hadn't done shit. He lived and died. They were busboys on one of my ships. The decks of Hanami or Homi or whatever, that one of my ships, basically. They were busboys. Later on, they would be on the beaches and they'd walk up, all steroided up. Realistically, they had no control of the police department until later. And that was just Richard Nixon. He had been JFK, he was a president, whatever, blah, blah, blah. Or fake president. Jimmy Carter was trying to say he was president too. Realistically, there's guys with guns running around. They stole the Maltese Falcon. They didn't get any, they destroyed a couple thousand-year-old work of art casted bird that looked just like the real thing. And they melted it down for piece of shit coins. They took a work of art. They couldn't exactly sell it, you see. Everyone knew about the Maltese Falcon, and there was 20 of them. So they put it in an oven and melted it down. Melted down the gold one, they melted down the silver one. There were 20 birds, all alike. They didn't quite realize that the last 4 were uranium, thorium, and a few other highly radioactive particle matter metals. I wanted to make one Maltese Falcon for every metal that existed. So, one of them was uranium and thorium. We were checking the particle decay rate, or the radiation decay rate on them. Every 100 or few hundred years, they'd pull it out and see how radioactive it was. See if it dropped a point. Nobody would buy it. Well, actually, I think there's a longer story where they actually did sell and give one of the Maltese Falcons that was radioactive to some other people. But they kept on getting sick and dying, so it kept on going back to the frat group and sitting on that mantle. And they would just leave it there. Like I said, their hair fell out. The women wouldn't come over because the women would always feel sick. Some of the guys liked it because they wouldn't have babies. Sterility. Like I say, you'll have to talk to Harvard, or Yale, or Oxford, or one of the schools. Or Richard Nixon or John McCain about it. They thought they were pulling one over on the old man. I said they made a movie about Cairo. Cairo's talking to us, blah, blah. Cairo guy or something like that. It was the country of Cairo. They had known of the Maltese Falcon. They knew that they're radioactive and highly dangerous. So they were trying to warn them. But old stupid JFK and everyone else, they were so smart. Outthinking the big man, you see. And so they suspected everyone of being a spy and everyone going after them. And then, like I said, when they started dropping like flies, they thought I was using my space war people. It's got to be some sort of death ray or something. I warned people. And I said, don't go mucking around with my belongings. Some things are highly dangerous. You shouldn't take them out of the cases. The LSL shells rounds are very dangerous, especially when you set one off. Basically an open nuclear reaction. It's for creating stars or creating stuff in space where it's safe. To a spaceship, it's perfectly safe. To you, highly dangerous. And I said, Zachary Bill Gates, who got the Purple Cross, or whatever. And I said, that was Nixon and JFK's mistake. He was giving out all these things, the Purple Star, or whatever, or this or that. And it turned out it was just a school. And then he gets in the White House, and, all these people in the White House, like I said, JFK Nixon sat in my chair and said, when I sit in this chair, I'm you. It's like, that's just my office. That's just my desk. Just because you sit behind it doesn't make you me. Doesn't mean you're the one who edited the Constitution. Doesn't mean that you're the true LS. It's just a desk in a house, idiot. Like, how fucking stupid are you? Next thing you see, Obama giving Zachary Bill Gates the Purple Cross. Why? Because he brought forward the LSL shells and helped you win the war in Kuwait. I banned those shells. You're not to use those shells on the surface of a planet. You can use the copper jet. A shell wrapped with plastic explosive. It vaporizes the copper in the center and shoots it into the tank. And is just as fucking effective as a nuclear whatever. Like, you can join Epic Stupidity, Obama. Maybe now I know why they were planning on killing you and your family. But that's not how I act. That's not what we do. We don't do that, you stupid fucking half-wit. A plague upon the world! Or maybe you can go with Rick Bush, aka Rick Bash, because he always gets the bush. Talking about a girl's pussy. Or Godney. Oh, well, yes. Lucifer Star, that's just his party name. It's like, it's not a party name, dude. I don't care. Like I say, now we're some 100 million, 100 million, trillion years later, and basically, when I was in the bathroom, Rick Bush and Rodney Bradley were like, well, as long as we get in control in the future or whatever, we'll be the only ones watching. 12 galaxies, 800 galaxies, colony ship, and I was even nuked and atomized one time. And you think you're the only one watching? Broadcasting in space. For how long saying about the Creator is here. God is among us. Well, there's the government authorized illusion or the government of defense project. Just like 5 lines underneath the DOD. Somebody showed me one time. I actually told Rodney and Rick Bush they're the ones who wanted to do it, and I told them no. They couldn't do a government authorized illusion. I wouldn't allow them to lie to the public or to the people. I said when I was a child, there were probably 800 galaxies all staring at me, all watching on view screens. Some girl in China Like I say, like to the Chinese people, I'm sorry. I love you. I know. I hurt you. Thank you. And like to the people of Korea, I know you made soda and you were producing chips and you were flooding the market with all kinds of wonderful things for me. They were taking the money or whatever and becoming rich. And you were doing a service. And so to you, you know, I love you and I'm sorry. Some British people found out what was going on in Korea or something like that and went over there to talk to them. Of course, the black people were lying. They always lie. They've been lying for centuries. Like I said, apparently, some black people went, like I say, went to go rape some Germans. And like I say, the German people were not like that. Like I have been stressing defense and security and self-reliance to the German people. So the women were much like my stewardesses of the Pan Am or American Airlines company. Like I said, those stewardesses kicked ass. I remember some of the videos of it. There was Fred or Alfred or somebody like they was like, "I'm gonna fart." Like he was like he would flatulate on the plane. It's like, oh God, not Fred again. He was like this guy or something like that. I don't know what his deal was, but like they had to take care of him. A lot of girls, a lot of guys that get on aircraft. Well, women, you know, like women were my people. I love women. I adored women. I gave women. I made women. I gave women the ability to have children. I gave women the ability to, you know, you were my. I chose you. I picked you. You were one of my races, one of my first life form types, or whatever. And I was like, you have served me longest and best, and therefore I'm going to give you this. It's true. Well, mostly true, I don't know. Like I said, if you want to do the research, that's fine. All the files are open to you. The galaxy is your whatever. You can look through time, you can look through space, you can do whatever you want. Just don't mess it up. Don't try and make it into something it's not. You know. Looking is fine. No, I don't mind that. You all deserve the right to know the truth. Why would I hide it? Even if I was just some kid that named America or whatever. Or just someone that stopped a few bad people. Like I spent years trying to invent America. Like it took 7 months. And that was what was so epic about it, is that I spent 7 months trying to design America. And 7 months or 8 months, I finally came up with something that would work. But I did other stuff as well too. A lot of my people would say, he needs a break. Let him play. Let him relax. He's been thinking about it non-stop all week. I wouldn't give up. I just kept thinking about everything. How to figure it out. And so my people felt sorry for me. My people said, give him a break. He's been thinking about this thing all the time. It's all he does think about. Who else was going to fix it? There's no one older. There's no one with more money, more seniority. And a lot of people would say, this little kid. Well, I wasn't a little kid, you know. Just because I look like a little kid doesn't mean I am. I've always been Lucifer Starlines. I've always been Lucifer Star. Even my name means nothing. I've always been your creator. Always will be. All that shit, all that bullshit, all those lies that Richard Nixon and John McCain and those stupid other idiots did. Just to confuse you. false gods, false leaders. No one else could step up and do it. No one else could think of your system that would actually bring you out of chaos or whatever. And like I said, it's a complicated, it's a large, expensive government. CIA, FBI, but it's the best I could do. It's the best I could think of. All the things that is America. I couldn't, the truth was, is I had met him. I knew that somebody was going to come after me. Somebody was going to kill me. Someone was going to destroy my civilization. Or someone's. So like I told him, I said, well, it's big. It's really big. I don't know any other way to do it. I don't think they can outthink this. It's based on individual responses and individual people. I don't think there's a way anyone can possibly outdo this. Even if someone is purposely trying to destroy the world, it's going to take them a damn long time to actually break through all these different variances. And it's based on people. They'll have to want to do it. Like I said, the 2 turnkey thing, everything. Like I said, the CIA, FBI, and NORAD all had to agree on the state of readiness before the president could do anything. So, there is no other way. There is nothing better. There is nothing with more security. I would say, well, they're not going to be able to pass very many laws, but, if someone is actively going to try and destroy my government, destroy my people, destroy my planet, this is the best guess I got as far as stopping it. I couldn't think of anything better. It would take them a long time to get through all this. Like I said, the president is just a little elected fucking piece of shit leader living in my house. Lucifer White Starline's house. So. I'm sorry to the Middle East. I'm sorry to the Tinstness. I'm sorry to a lot of people. I had nothing to do with it. I know America nuked Cairo or Egypt. They knew who I was. They knew what I was. So some people took over America and made sure that they nuked Cairo. It wasn't the Libyans. It wasn't Russia that nuked them. That was all a lie. It was all a game, you see, to some people. They planned on nuking Egypt and Cairo, and then they would blame Russia for it. Just like they would blame Japan or China. Like I say, Mike and your brother, when you want to do something and you send a computer to do it, it won't die. It won't end. It will simply exist until it can finally achieve the goal you sent it to do. And then it will do it. And the thousands or millions or billions of people that die because of your stupid fuck up will not be on my case. They're on your head. When you want to kill someone or remove someone, you better know who they are. I cleaned up your mess. Next time you send a computer that's a learning AI after something, you better fucking know what you're doing. You're shit and you're fucking stupid idiots. Alright? He almost, it was going to kill you. It was going to torture you. I was going to torture